Dr. Brown, Maya's here.
Thank you. Some of my clients prefer to talk when their hands are busy. If you want to have a cityscape, you can do.
Yeah, sure.
Come on. So Maya, you want to tell me why you're here today?
Besides the court order?
You really think the court order is the only reason why you're here?
I mean, like, I guess I just had a bad day. It started with work.
Okay. So what happened?
My lazy ass coworker called me ghetto.
I know that was tough, especially hearing that in the workplace. You want to tell me more about it?
I mean, I don't want to. Does it even really matter?
Alright. Assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault, assault on an officer, and indecent exposure?
My titty popped out when we were fighting.
Well, according to the reports here, you were the only one that was fighting Maya. The other woman wasn't even fighting back. Now, you're looking at 15 years, but for some reason the judge has some sort of empathy towards you if we could find a breakthrough. And according to these papers here, you passed the psych eval with flying colors, so that means you can kiss the mental institution goodbye if you get charged. Now we're looking at time in the state pen, so yeah, I really do think it matters.
Well, I guess it started when I was called ghetto at work. And then after work, I went to the corner store to just get a water. And the owner of the shop, I'm sure he was the owner of the shop, his energy, he was watching me. And then his brother or whatever, whoever he was following me. And then one of them called me a thief.
Really? A thief? Fuck you, you punk ass. Here, fuck your water.
Oh. And then I'm walking home. And this white lady is just insulted by these children's happiness. They're like dancing in the street. And she decides to call them uncivilized. And I mean, she didn't say it to me, obviously. But it affected me. And all I wanted to do was go home, talk to my boyfriend. I just wanted him to hold me. He was packing a bag.
Wait, no, I don't understand. Where the fuck are you going?
See, this is.
Where the fuck are you going?
You're too unstable. I'm not with none of that. Watch out.
He left me that night. He called me unstable, along with some other choice words.
It's a pretty rough day. So at this point, what are you feeling?
Everything. I mean, I'm like a mixing pot of emotions, and mostly just confused because I didn't know why he just left me. And so I went outside and I called my mom, but she didn't answer. Big surprise. And so I'm just bawling my eyes out, and I can't even really see because of all the tears. I'm sure my makeup is smeared and I look ridiculous. And this lady bumps into me. Maybe I bumped into her. I don't know. But she called me crazy.
Usually there's some type of exchange between them which causes you to have more words with somebody. So are you leaving anything out?
You're really good at this, aren't you?
Okay, I popped off and I was like, watch where you're going. And then she was like, you're the one who bumped into me, crazy bitch. And then I told her, don't call me crazy. And then she did.
And then it happened.
Dumbass bitch. I fucking told your stupid ass not to call me crazy.
So there's something about the word crazy that set you off? Yes, it started in the beginning of your day with your coworker calling you ghetto. And then a whole bunch of important events happened in between. And then crazy. But one part of your day really bothered you. And that was your mother not answering the phone. Why weren't you surprised by that?
She just doesn't. She never. She just isn't a mom. She just isn't. She isn't a mother.
Was there some point in your life to where you really needed her and she wasn't there for you? For you to feel like she's just not a mother?
Yeah. The most important day of my life.
B.
Liar.
Unstable.
Crazy.
Ghetto.
Crazy.
I was 10 years old. And I was hanging out at my friend Kim's house. You see, my father and her father, they were business partners. So I hung out over there all the time. We were in her room, but she went downstairs to do a project. And I just stayed in her room because I just felt comfortable there. And that's when he came in.
Who was he?
Sean, her brother. He called me pretty. I could feel something was off. And then he started touching me and I yelled and I was like yelling for him to stop and like, will somebody please help me? But nobody came. And he raped me. And then we heard the door slam and it was his mom. She just came home. So we jumped up, naturally. And so I ran downstairs and I told her everything. And for a minute, I thought she believed me. Sean was up there for a while. But he came down and she confronted him and they argued. And at this point, Kim is hugging me and calling my parents. And next thing you know, both my parents and the cops are there. And next thing you know, Sean runs out and he says she's a liar. And she's a thief. And he grabbed my backpack and he dumped it out and all of his mom's jewelry was in there. I didn't do that.
He was trying to make you look bad.
Try? He didn't try. He succeeded. My life blew up. My father was disgusted because I was no longer the victim. I was the predator. Kim, she just stepped away from me. The mom, she called me a thief. And Kim, she called me ghetto. And their father looked my dad straight in the eyes and told us how uncivilized we were, even though we lived in a rich neighborhood. My dad turned his back on me. He made the whole family believe that I was unstable. I was alone, and as I was getting handcuffed, the last thing I remember is seeing Sean's disgusting face, smiling. And he called me crazy. The police door shut, and I was taken away.
I'm sorry that happened to you. So in a very hard time in your life, a very traumatic experience, both of your parents weren't there for you. What about your dad? Like, why would he say that? Why do you think he would say something like that and not have your back in this situation?
Because he needed Kim's dad to sign off on some papers. See, they had a deal that was going to make them ultra rich, richer than we already were. So my assumption is that it was easier to sell their daughter down the river for a dime. I mean, a dime that was worth $5.7 million each.
Have you talked to your dad since?
He's dead.
Sorry to hear that. What about your mom?
Well, that day, she did nothing. Actually, she did. She consoled Sean. She was hugging him while the cops drove me away.
I can understand why you feel like she wouldn't be there for you in a time of need as last week, since she wasn't there for you when something important like this happened. Now what about Kim, your best friend? Have you heard from her?
Despite it being 20 years later, she actually found me over Instagram and apologized and told me that she believed me.
She's sorry and she believes you. Why would she say that to you?
You're gonna love this. Her brother was convicted of being a serial child rapist. Not only was I not the first, but I was definitely not the only one, because he was charged with 600 years in prison.
How does that make you feel?
Not free, not safe, but I guess it's something. I don't know, like, am I crazy, Doc?
I know you're not crazy. I don't know if you were able to see this or not, but the beginning of your bad day started with being called ghetto. And there's a lot of gaps to fill into your day, but you chose specific events to tell me about. The store clerk calling you a thief, the woman indirectly speaking to you saying uncivilized, your boyfriend walking out on you calling you unstable like your dad did, and that lady calling you crazy like Sean did. The problem is, Maya, when we have past traumatic experiences and we don't deal with them or talk about them, they always come back to light. Whether we plan it or not, most of the times we don't plan it. And unfortunately for this lady, she called you crazy more than once, and it triggered something, set off something in your brain. Only I can assume that set this trickle effect of what went down that night you were raped, and to bring it into today, and you took it out on her. So no, I don't think you're crazy. Instead, I do think you're in the process of healing.
Dr. Brown, isn't it just so interesting how one action, one thing, one word can just trigger this windfall of events?
Yeah, it's crazy. But Maya, that's all it takes. It just takes one word, one action, one thing for something to trigger something else. But the important thing to know here is that ultimately we have the power. We can't control what other people say, but instead we can control how we react. So you just need to know that you're in control. So after we've connected all these events and we've kind of made a breakthrough, how do you feel?
I mean, to be honest, I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel like my chest isn't so heavy. I definitely didn't realize or were able to put out so perfectly exactly why I was triggered. Can I see you again this week?
Of course, I'll be here.